cheers. Let's do a cheers to take us in. Cheers. So
That's
cheers to everyone.
Mine's black.
Mine's green. I'm glad we know colours.
Yes.
Cheers to everyone who's listening today as well. Welcome.
Yes.
Episode 5 of a podcast now. I'm your host, Lachlan, and I'm joined as always by the amazing Lucas Boreham.
That's correct. I am amazing, and that is my name as well. Just to don't forget that, please. It's my only name. But yeah, today was exciting because I was actually somewhat looking forward to watching this movie. I'm not going to lie. I mean, Space Jam 2 last week just didn't tickle my fancy. But this was a completely new, standalone film. I get. Well, there is a trilogy coming. Did you say, or would be,
I have no idea. I doubt it. But yes, so this week we are talking about the new movie starring Emily Blunt and The Rock called Jungle Cruise, which is it's another one of these movies made by Disney that are based on an amusement park ride. Right, so Pirates of the Caribbean being the most notable for Disney, and then they also tried it with Tomorrowland and now Jungle Cruise. So we're going to be talking about Jungle Cruise. And I went into this movie completely blind. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about the ride. Mm-hmm. You mentioned last week you had a bit of trouble getting onto the ride.
Yes. But I could definitely tell, like in the movie when they first got to, I think it was Brazil, I think, and you saw this wonderful, scape of jungle and this little village and people selling monkeys and shit. Yes, exactly. That definitely reminded me of Disneyland and how it was just this fake, buildings and how they had fake plants everywhere.
Yeah.
And this fake boat, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And The Rock was making funny jokes and pulling like levers and shit that would set things off, like an amusement park ride.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very, very comparable. When I was watching that scene, I was like, dude, they're literally of course they put this in there because then they can actually do that in the ride, and people be like, that's from the film. Like, of course they would do that, And then it's fucking profit. Congratulations.
No, exactly. So this movie is very much corporate synergy. The movie, right? So it's about getting their amusement parks and their movies, combining them. So you try to do everything, right? You want to go to the amusement park and you want to see this movie. Yeah. But I just think as a concept, right? As a concept, I thought it's much easier to imagine pirates turning into a movie, because you could take that any which direction, than just a cruise in a jungle. I didn't know outside of that, what is the premise of the movie? It's literally just a boat going along a river in a jungle. Specifically, it's the Amazon. And then when watching the movie, I realized, they literally just modeled it after Pirates of the Caribbean, where, and it's not even just Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a little bit of The Mummy, and it's a little bit of kind of just generic Indiana Jones.
Yes, huge Indiana Jones vibes with the music, the dun 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 dun. I could hear that coming on, but it didn't. It was just some lesser, score, and that kind of just it didn't annoy. Well, yes, it did annoy me because I was just like, I feel like I'm watching a today knockoff version of Indiana Jones, and it just made me sad. But it also made me excited because now I feel like I want to watch all the Indiana Jones movies all over again and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah.
Because, so it takes a general mystery kind of plot where there's this ancient necklace that she has, and she's trying to find the heart of the Amazon or something. It's something ridiculous.
She has the key. They always have the key, and they need a map, and they have the map. And they need to travel through something to get to an ancient temple that they unravel.
Exactly.
And
there's puzzles. And,
there's puzzles
and whatnot.
And
it's quite generic in that way, and I think, as well, like in terms of it replicating Pirates of the Caribbean, it even then takes some of the influence of, so we'll take real world elements and then exaggerate it. So say there's these Spanish conquistadors that are like kind of not mummified, but they're like, I don't know what you'd call it. Like they have weird different powers and that.
Yeah.
Kind of like the pirates do, like Barbossa and that in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Or David Jones in the second one, I guess. But
yeah.
That was a lot of vibes like that. Oh, they've been turned into freaky monsters because they were, kept in the jungle.
Because there was some curse or something that they were trying to find, and they found it, and that's what happened. Yeah. So it's like it is almost beat for beat doing Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Just not as well.
No, not as well. Well, that's interesting you say that, because I mean, yes, I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean, like the writers, I guess were just better. There was two of them, and I feel like this movie only had one. And Johnny Depp just made Pirates of the Caribbean as well. And I mean, like, Keira Knightley and fucking William Turner, I can't remember his name, Legolas. But, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean, like, A Dead Man's Chest is just... The movie's a roller coaster, and it's just a well-made, well-shot. All the characters are, like, amazing. I felt like this movie... each character was very stereotypical. Like Emily's character was like,
yes, very much so.
Lara Croft, but British, and then she had the sidekick who was like, the comedic relief.
Yeah, what's his name? Jack Whitehall.
Yeah, who was actually like sometimes funny, but at the same time, I kind of got sick of him. I was like we need some more characters. I felt like we needed more characters in this group. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, there was Will Turner, there was fucking Jack, and there was Keira Knightley's character.
Elizabeth.
And then there was like, the Commodore, fucking, there was all these like, different characters.
Supporting characters. They had all these supporting characters. And this movie does have supporting characters, but it's not the same. Like the supporting characters in the Pirates of the Caribbean, whether it's Jeffrey Rush or it's that the Commodore or whatever. They're throughout the movie.
Yes,
the entire time. This movie has Paul Giamatti as well as what's his name, Jesse Plemons. But they're barely in the movie, and they're great additions to it. But they're in it for like a few seconds, and that's it.
It's because it focuses on the actual journey itself in the river. Like, Pirates of the Caribbean, they were going to Tortuga, they were going to Ildemerta, I think, or at the end and stuff. Like, they were going all over the shop. Whereas, like, they were going in fucking Jungle Cruise, they were going from one place to the tree, or whatever, the sacred tree, and then back. Yeah. So you only got to see these characters like 3 times, and, they didn't really develop much. It
was like the scope of Pirates of the Caribbean is so large by the nature of it being open waters, pirates. Like, you just have more available to you. Whereas you're literally confined to this river. And I was like, there's going to be a moment where there's a waterfall, and then there's a moment where there's a waterfall. Like, there's not that many things you can do with a river, and they just do those. There was like weird creatures that came up, and
the dolphins, like the pink dolphins, bro. Yeah. Where did these come from? Whose idea was this? Like, obviously they're gonna put it in the ride, be like, oh look, there's pink dolphins. Wow, yeah, amazing. And then I imagine, like, how he had a pet leopard or like panther, whatever. Yeah.
That annoyed the fuck out of me, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. In the ride, because the cat was like underneath the boat. In the ride, I swear to God that they will have like you're sitting in the ride in the boat, and like there will be a speaker under your seat just pumping like these growls of cats.
Growls,
Yeah, they're literally just...
And then there'll be some guy going, easy girl, easy.
Yeah. And Dwayne just going, oh, bad pun, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he just says bad pun.
Yeah, and Emily Blunt going, oh, Skip.
Hey,
Shut
Skip.
up, lady. Oh, it's so
Yeah, I
sick
know.
of it.
Oh, jeez. I know. Their dynamic was... I think their dynamic was the only entertaining part of the movie, though.
That's true. And
They did
some
suit
of
each
the
other well.
puns. Some of the puns were not too bad as well.
I don't remember any of them. All I remember is Jack Whitehall is gay.
Yes, that's true. And I was like, I guess, it wasn't like a, wow. It was like a,
Yeah,
cool.
Because I guess they were trying to do the thing where it's like the movie is set in the 1920s, I think, during the First World War. So they're trying to do the thing where it's like, oh, it's not cool to be gay yet. It's so difficult, but they don't do it at all. They barely touch on it.
The only film that does that topic properly is The Imitation Game. I feel like does it the best because it's actually
that is the movie.
fucked. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. It is the movie. And it's like depressing as hell because you actually get the full breadth of someone who's so brilliant and is just, kind of destroyed by their own stupid government. But yeah.
Yeah. Also going back to the Pirates of the Caribbean comparisons. So one of the very defining things of that movie are the action sequences. And they have a very specific feel to them, and I do think it's very reminiscent of Indiana Jones as well, where it's like a series of events. It's like a series of unfortunate events all happening at once.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, is it called a Rube Goldberg machine or whatever? Have you heard of those?
Yes,
Where it's like,
I have. Yeah.
It's like you roll a ball down a ramp and it hits a domino and the domino falls and then blah, 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 blah. The action sequences are very much like that. And there's also movies, the Death Note, the anime.
I've heard of it. Yes.
It's like you write someone in a notebook.
Oh yeah, and they die.
And then they die. But they die like a Rube Goldberg machine where it's like a series of events happening and then they die.
Oh, interesting.
Also like Final Destination.
Final Destination. Yeah.
That does the exact same thing. So these movies do like kids action sequence versions of them, right? Where the action is very kinetic and it keeps flowing from beat to beat, kind of accidentally getting to that final outcome. And they do it well and it's entertaining.
Oh yeah.
It's just not as good as Pirates of the Caribbean because Captain Jack sells the entire thing because he's just this drunk pirate and he's just going through life, kind of failing upwards, and it really works for his character. Whereas with these characters, it just kind of makes it feel like they're rubbish and everything they're succeeding at is accidental.
Yes, I agree. Like Emily Blunt's character, in that first scene where as you see in the trailer that's happening behind you, she's out this window on this ladder. And it just, the whole sequence is clumsy. It feels clumsy and not like, how Jack Sparrow, he's kind of clumsy, but he's also kind of cunning. Like Emily's character was kind of like, oh, I'm upon a fucking ladder and I'm about to fall to my death. Oh no. And, luckily, what do you call it? Her fucking friend stops the bus and she lands on the bus and she's like, oh, I'm all dandy now. Like, that was easy. I'm chill. And I just felt like, there was she just fell on a bus. Yeah. And
no, exactly.
How am I supposed to react,
What I noticed with all of the action sequences is it was literally like, a normal scene. We're just telling a normal story or whatever we're trying to do in this scene. And then suddenly, explosion, it's an action sequence now. And the action has nothing to do with the story being told. So it's like, okay, we'll pause the story for a second to have this action sequence. And then the way they get out of the action sequence is always something like that, where they just land in the next scene and then they start the scene again, story starts back up again. It's such lazy writing for an action sequence.
I feel like Pirates of the Caribbean like did their fight scenes brilliantly. Where in the fight scene they would teach you more about the character themselves. Like I remember
Exactly.
the first fight scene between Will and Jack. They're kind of like circling each other.
They're learning about each other.
Yeah, they're learning about each other. And then I remember, Jack kind of rotates himself so that he can get away. And that was his whole plan. He was like, I don't actually want to fight you. I just want to leave. And then Will, does the unexpected.
Unexpectedly.
And then he exactly. And like this, it's just a kinetic,
it's so
fun
dynamic
experience. Yeah, exactly. That actually has to keep you on your toes as well as, visually and mentally, I guess. But yeah, this show doesn't do it. It's like visual.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I think with Pirates of the Caribbean is that the best thing about the movie and why it works so well is that the story they're trying to tell, the characters and the way they're acted, and the action sequences they sprinkle throughout all like unify and come together and work in each other's favor, right? So it's not like one takes precedence over the other. It's not like, okay, this scene would just focus on the characters. This scene is all about setting up the story. And then this scene is just the action. It's like, no, everything's happening all at once and they're all playing into each other to tell, or to entertain you. And that's why it's such a good movie is everything somehow works together. And and it's funny because the director of that movie, he's not anything I would say special. His name's Gore Babinski or something. Gore Babinski.
Yeah.
And he I think he directed The Ring before Pirates.
Nice.
Which is a good horror movie. But he's it's not like he's anything special. And the writers on the movie, I think one of them worked on Shrek, and I don't know what the other one did. But
amazing.
Yeah. So it's almost like they were in the right place at the right time working on this movie, and they just somehow put it together in such an incredible way that even though it's just a dumb fun action, popcorn blockbuster or whatever, it's able to work so well. And then in comparison, we have Jungle Cruise, which I watched it on Friday night at midnight until 2 a.m.
Wow. Why?
And because I had nothing else to do, and
fair enough.
And it just wasn't doing anything for me. And there are amazing people in this movie, and I just don't find them entertaining. Like I like Jack Whitehall, I just don't care for him in this movie at all. I like Emily Blunt; she's an amazing actress. In this, I just could not give a shit. And then The Rock is just being The Rock. And it's like, I'm so sick and tired of The Rock just being The Rock.
Like, I agree thoroughly on that statement. Like, when he was like, oh, I'm actually a Spaniard and I'm 400 years old. I was like, that is bullshit. I'm calling you on
You
that.
have the
that is
thickest American accent I have
Yeah.
ever heard.
He's
okay,
like,
you're not...
I'm a 400-year-old fucking Spaniard. He's my brother or whatever the fuck. He's my cousin or something. And I'm like, what? You picked The Rock to play this character.
Yeah.
And like, I literally at, I think halfway through the movie, I was like, I would love if like The Rock had some role where he was a strong character, like, masculine character, but he's also like, he had, he was Spanish, or he had like, something else going on that he wasn't just like, I do puns now. Yeah, exactly.
So here's the thing, okay? The Rock has been hyping up this movie called Black Adam. Have you heard of it?
No, not at all.
So do you know Shazam, the superhero Shazam?
Yes.
Yeah. So Black Adam is the exact same powers as Shazam, and is usually one of Shazam's villains, but they're turning it into more of an anti-hero in this case. Anyway, The Rock was attached to play Black Adam since 2005. That's how long they've been making this movie for. It's finally being filmed. And anyway, the character is like a slave from ancient Egypt.
Wow.
Who because of the powers of Shazam, I think he gets locked in like some kind of tomb or something and then reawakens in the modern day. But he's supposed to be ancient Egyptian, right? So now Jungle Cruise has got me sincerely worried about this Blackadder movie because he's just going to play The Rock. He's not going to play an ancient Egyptian slave at all. Well, he's going to be the thick American accent again.
At least, like, he looks like he's a bit Egyptian, with the bald head, because, Egyptians...
He was in The Mummy, or the second one.
Yes, that's right. That's where I'm getting these vibes from. So maybe if they just didn't make him talk, but in a like not English language, like how they have. Oh, he's speaking this ancient Egyptian language. You have a translator that does all the actual acting. That'd be great. Would be good.
But yeah, I'm concerned because I just don't want him to do puns, bad puns. And especially because Fast and Furious 5, I think he actually plays a character in that movie.
He's great. He suits it well. He's like Tom Cruise in Jack Reacher. Like, he's like, oh, Tom Cruise playing Tom Cruise. This is like the best film I've ever seen. Because I love that film. And like Fast and Furious 5 is probably, one of my favorite Fast and Furious movies because like The Rock is the best addition. He's this cop who's fucking, there. He's badass, and he's also like, on the fence about being good or bad. But like primarily he's good. He's like for the law. But he makes sense. He's like this elite task force squad, and he suits that. And he's American, so it makes sense. But in this film, he's like, I don't believe that you're a skipper, that you're just fucking huge, and like you
for no reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did build his boat and stuff.
It's because he's a conquistador. That's why he's so big.
That's true. I guess.
But I don't think he suits this movie at all. Like, he just doesn't suit the vibe. No. It just doesn't make any sense. But, again, playing off of Emily Blunt, I think Emily Blunt does such a good job reacting to The Rock that it works.
Yeah, and they have a thing which I didn't believe at all. Like, come on.
Yeah.
When that happened,
it was...
What?
Well, it's supposed to be like these two people from opposite sides of the world who, they go on this adventure together and they find that they love each other or some dumb shit. Because, it's like at the end of the movie, The Rock gets put into a literal rock. He gets turned into a literal rock.
Yeah, I love that part. I wanted him to stay as The Rock as well.
Yeah.
And then they ruined it.
True form.
Yeah, exactly.
If he's only ever going to play The Rock, then you get to play a fucking rock. Okay.
Also, at the start, he was doing some puns about rocks as well. He was like, I take it for granted and stuff like that. He didn't do a rock pun, and he's The Rock. Like, surely the script writers would have been like, holy shit, like, we can write this in and people would love it. Like,
That was like in, I don't know if you ever saw Men in Black International, but there's a moment where Chris Hemsworth grabs a tiny hammer and it's like, haha, get it? He plays Thor. Haha. I don't like that self-referential kind of comedy. So I think if there was a joke where The Rock was like, see that boulder over there? It's almost as big as me. I don't know if I would have liked it. Yeah, maybe I would have. I don't know.
Yeah, true. I guess you're right.
Also, the other thing with the Pirates of the Caribbean comparisons, if you think about the main trio, right, you have... What I think is interesting, people often get this wrong about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The main character... Actually, before I've already kind of given it away, but who do you think the main character is in Pirates of the Caribbean?
It's Will Turner, isn't it? Or
yes, good.
Yeah.
Or Keira Knightley. I mean, they're kind of joint leads.
They're the main characters, and fucking Johnny Depp. Well, because he was so good, because he made his character kind of up on the spot, and the directors saw that. They're like, they were good directors. They're like, sick. We like this is entertaining. We will mold the script towards Jack. And that's why the first film worked, and the second and the third, I guess, didn't work so well because it was kind of based more around him.
Because he became the main characters.
Exactly.
They did everything around him.
Exactly.
Yeah, so this story kind of goes that Captain Jack Sparrow wasn't even a character originally in the first draft of the story. It was just Will Turner and Elizabeth who like go on this journey and find, like, they leave their British imperialism behind, and they become pirates. And then they were like, well, let's have a third character. And what they were going for is like a Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han kind of vibe.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So you have the two like strong lead hero type characters, and then you have a third one who's a bit more, gunslinging.
Yeah.
He's a bit wilder. He's like a comedic relief almost. And they were actually running him in as a bit of a comedic relief role.
Yeah.
And then when Johnny Depp got the role and he started researching about pirates, he then linked pirates to modern day rock stars for some reason and modeled his performance after Keith Richards. And then he was improvising all this work on the day, and then they were like, okay, this is it. We're going to chuck you in way more scenes. You're going to be
the best.
Master.
The fucking best thing
and
that's
then we
ever
got
happened.
what we know today.
And that's why Johnny Depp is amazing.
Yes, correct.
Full stop.
And Jungle Cruise tries to emulate that. So the two main characters, right? So Will Turner is The Rock in this movie. Keira Knightley, I might add, is Emily Blunt because, or Elizabeth, what's her name? Elizabeth Swann is literally Emily Blunt because they're both English women who have a necklace that belongs to the curse.
My God.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
my
with
God.
me?
Yep.
And they go on a boat
Yep.
and they realize they don't want to live. They leave their old life behind.
Yes,
I don't know.
They do. They do.
So yeah,
they do.
and then Jack Sparrow has to be Jack Whitehall in this movie. And when you put it that way, that's when you realize why this movie doesn't work.
Yeah. Because, well, yeah. Well, actually, that actually makes sense. Because remember at the last part where Jack Whitehall's character kind of leads the bad guy towards The Rock and Emily. Like, that's what fucking Jack Sparrow does. He talks with Barbossa at the end and he's like, he tries to make a deal. Which is literally, like, they've literally emulated the fuck out of Pirates of the Caribbean and been like, hey, throw $200 million at it, which is the budget, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, $200 million.
Fucking film. Oh my God. I'm just going to search up.
It's a weird budget as well because, say, if this movie hadn't have released during a pandemic, I don't think this would have been $1 billion movie.
Wait, you think it would have been $1 billion movie?
No, I don't think it would have.
Yeah. Yeah, good, because I would have been scared. Oh my God. Wait, no, that's the box office. Oh no, that's for the total 5 films. I'm an idiot. Pirates of the Caribbean, Black Man's. No, not Black Man.
Whoa, Black Man. What kind of Pirates movie did you watch?
The Curse of the Black Pearl. Here we are. All right.
Black Man's Chest.
Okay, box office was 700 million. Where's the budget?
I have a fun fact. I'm pretty sure the third Pirates movie is the most expensive. Well, it's the most expensive movie ever made at the time.
The budget was 140 million. So, what's in the world?
Oh, this movie got a higher budget than Pirates did.
Where did they spend it? In the CGI? Forgot the whole jungle was fake. It looked fake because it just was
the river
way
looked
too
fake.
full of life. Yeah. Oh.
It didn't go into the submarine. The submarine was a weird addition, I might add. I don't typically think of a submarine in a river, but
I liked
whatever
it.
floats your boat.
I liked it because it subverted my expectation when it popped out of the water and he had a machine gun. And I was like, I actually like this. And that was the only part I liked about the entire film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was that submarine?
And when he crushed the bees on the map and then he said a pun about bees, but like it wasn't that
a lot
good
of puns in
because
this
I
movie.
forgot
It's
it.
really dumb writing.
Yeah, it is. It's like literally these guys when they were writing it were like, fucking, dude, I'm mate. Like they were literally searching up good puns on the internet. Like I felt like I heard these puns 20 times beforehand from my friends, like literally from like a friend group or something, like or Rick and Morty or like any other good show where they're just doing a pun for shit laughs. Like it's like it's shit humor, and that's how they're getting you. It's like cathartic laughter where you're like, that's shit humor, I'm gonna laugh at that because, like, you know, it's dumb. But this movie, that was the humor, and they were like, it was unironic, so it just didn't work.
Yeah, no, I don't remember laughing during this movie at all. And the thing about the comedy within Pirates of the Caribbean is that it is, again, it's motivated by the story and the characters in the story, acting. It all, again, everything works together. So when they're telling a joke, it's like when our introduction to Will is when he pulls the candle off of the thing accidentally. And that's so funny.
Amazing. Like, we sympathise with that. We relate to that. Whereas none of these characters are very relatable other than Jack being gay. You know? That's it. That is it.
And as well, the other thing is we keep calling the characters of Jungle Cruise by the actors' names because we don't have any fucking clue what the characters' names are.
No, we don't. We literally don't. They like Dwayne called Emily Lady the entire film. He was like, "Oh, if you're gonna be like that, lady," it's like, did he even like learn her name in the fucking like actual film, like, or did he just forget? And was like,
those were just behind the scenes takes.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And then I swear Jack's name wasn't said at all. Like, he was just. I didn't even know the relationship between Emily and him. I thought like they were brother and sister. Were they brother and sister?
Yeah, I think that. I'm pretty sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Brother and sister.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's about it. It was just couldn't remember really much about that film. And then also let's talk about the villain of the film.
Yes.
German man. Can't remember his name either.
No.
Fuck, like, I literally can't for the life of me remember this man's...
And keep it... I just want the audience to know that Lucas watched this movie like literally a few hours ago.
I watched it, I started the movie at 5 o'clock. It is now 8:42. So I watched a 2-hour film and it ended at 7 o'clock and I'm now filming an hour and a half after. Like, I watched the entire film. I was sat right here and watched it.
Yeah.
And, I can't remember.
Literally
but I do remember that the actor that plays the villain was from Battleships. You know, when the aliens and they're fighting in the battleships.
I've not seen Battleships.
It's good. And it's actually
he's
stupid, but it's
and
good.
he's also in much better things.
Yes, that's what I also like. He plays a better American actor. That's what I was going to say. Like, when I saw him doing this role, I didn't.
Yeah,
like it. What do you
German. I thought him as a villain is great. So he's done a lot of work on TV. So he was in Black Mirror. He was in the episode, the Star Trek episode. I think it's called USS Callister is the episode. And in Black Mirror everything sucks and everything's awful. And he plays that kind of villainous role. So like he's also in the Breaking Bad movie.
He's good in that.
Yeah. He's a bunch of stuff, and he's a very talented actor. So I was like, "Oh, he's the villain. Great, I'm in." It's like the same thing when I saw Paul Giamatti. I was like, "Okay, I'm in." They always deliver great performances, and then I just don't think they had much to work with. But I do think making him German was an odd choice, just because I didn't.
He sounded South African for beginners.
Yeah,
like I honestly thought he was South African. Not gonna lie, like that accent just did not work. But yeah, continue.
And the rest of the movie doesn't really reference that a war is going on. So it felt like it didn't even need to be set during World War I. You could have just said it another time. And just made it any kind of, like, an explorer. Just made it an explorer, a crazy explorer. And he would have had a much better time as a villain doing that.
Yeah. But again, they're stealing from Indiana Jones where it was the Nazis or the Russians that were the bad guys and they had all this money and all the tanks and stuff. Whereas, he had a submarine and 5 men to fight with him. And like it just like they literally just hastily put this together. I feel like they got a director, a
Again,
writer,
for 200
and, like,
million.
yes, for 200 million. Fuck, that's a lot of money. But they were literally like just hastily put it together. Oh yes, he has a submarine. That's it. That's all he has.
Yeah.
He's a fucking Kaiser. No, not a Kaiser. That's not German. He's a von or whatever in the German hierarchy. Like he's really high up,
Yeah.
but he doesn't. He has like 5 people. Like it didn't feel like
Yeah, there were barely
he was
any
a big
people.
villain. Yeah, exactly. He just had the jungle Spanish men, the bad guys, on his side, and they did they turn on him? Or no, yeah, he did. They weren't really part of his group. So
Well,
it was just
because
all
it was
mess.
like they were like the Rock's brother or whatever. So of course they're gonna
Oh, yeah.
end up siding with him.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's just like a mess of a movie, and yeah, just an easy cash grab. They spent 2 million. They must be able to get that back. I guess they put that's 2 million.
Oh well, they
200
won't.
million.
They
sorry,
won't
200
now.
million. Yeah.
No, I don't think any Disney Plus movie right now is just not gonna make their money back. So
Other than Marvel,
we may
maybe.
as- well,
yeah.
I think we may as well talk about this. So there was a bit of news this week. I don't know if you heard, but Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because of Black Widow being released on Disney Plus.
Interesting. Okay, wait. So, why? Wait, why? Yes, that's my question. Why?
So a lot of not just actors but just the general talent that work on a movie, like a big blockbuster type movie, they usually in their contracts have it so that they get a percentage of the return on the box office, right?
Wow.
So it's like, it's like how RDJ earns so much money off of Endgame and that. It's because
Yeah,
he gets
fuck.
like 10% of the box office or
That's
whatever, something ridiculous.
huge.
I don't know if it's that much, but it's like something ridiculous.
I
Like,
mean,
they
yeah,
get so much.
But you only go for Iron Man. I mean,
Exactly.
and all the other characters, to be honest. But yeah,
And what the lawsuit is saying is that because the movie was released on Disney Plus, and this goes for like all of the Disney Plus movies, that the perceived quality of the movie is reduced because it's like, oh, it's a streaming movie. I guess I can skip it. Like, it's not a must see. So then what ends up happening is less people buy it, right? So she's not even arguing that she's made less, like that she makes less money directly from Disney Plus, because for Disney Plus movies, you do actually need to pay extra on top of
yeah, exactly.
your monthly fee. So what ends up happening is that they do get a percentage of the gross of the box office, as well as what the money makes through the Disney Plus sales. So they get money that way. It's just that they believe that the perceived quality of the movie is reduced, so less people in total see it, and hence it makes less money overall.
I see. That's kind of like the people that lent money to Christopher Nolan to make Tenet, suing him for it not performing well because of COVID. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the reason of COVID was actually relevant because people couldn't actually see it in cinemas. And that, like, when he released, like, it was just terrible timing. Like, that was just terrible
Exactly.
timing. This movie, I mean, you can't just say, oh, it's worse quality because it's on a streaming platform. I feel like we're in this day and age now where we're getting good, like, films, TV shows, things on streaming platforms. Like, I remember, what's that movie that came out with Will Smith? And he was like a police officer in this fantasy LA.
Bright.
Yes, Bright. I remember watching that and I was like, this is actually a really good film. Like, the quality is wonderful. The script is great. Will Smith does an amazing job. And like, wasn't it just on streaming services? I remember.
Yeah, it was on Net. It was just on Netflix. It was a Netflix movie.
And I was like, I would go to the cinemas and watch this. Like, that was, and I was just like, okay, Netflix made this film. Like, sick. That now I'm just gonna have more Netflix original content that's movie standard because they they just they're standard high.
I mean, it's hard to argue because, like, by putting it on streaming, you're effectively opening it up to more people. So realistically, if you market your movie well, then more people should see it. And especially if there's this fee to watch it on Disney Plus, then you're still making that money anyway, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
She can't, and it's like, the other thing is, during this pandemic, a lot of people have had reduced income as a result of this pandemic.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, Scarlett Johansson, that you didn't make as many millions of dollars as you were promised.
Yeah.
But there are people who can no longer afford rent or food or power. Right?
Yeah.
So there's bigger things going on during this pandemic. So yes, you were supposed to get like 100 million from the box office or whatever, and then you're only getting like 8. Oh, sorry, big whoop.
Well,
like it's
she
still
can't
millions.
afford another yacht. No, actually, well, she probably doesn't own a yacht. She probably owns dogs or something. Or horses, maybe. She might be a horse girl. She probably can't afford another horse.
Jeez.
So she's like, shit. My life is over. I've got 20 horses. But I can't have 21. But yes, I don't know.
She probably spends it all on Colin Jost's hair, or his comedy, because he needs the help.
True.
But what I think is interesting is that Warner Brothers is in a very similar situation. They are releasing them. Warner Brothers has been probably the only movie studio really to be releasing movies at all during the pandemic, and they in the United States they released the movies on HBO Max, and it's not even for an additional fee. It is free when you pay your $8 a month or whatever. It's free, and what they did was they paid out all of the talent what they would have got if it had gone to the box office under normal circumstances. So this has already been sorted out. Warner Brothers has already sorted it out. And Disney was just being the lazy, like, Grinches that they are and didn't pay their talent out. So it's like Scarlett Johansson is justified in this lawsuit that she should actually be getting more money than she is. But at the same time, fuck you, Scarlett Johansson. You don't need it. Like, it doesn't matter. There are worse things happening.
I agree. But maybe, like, that's when I'm kind of thinking maybe, like, it's her agent or someone that's being like, oh, no, you deserve more or some shit. And she's there like, I mean, yeah, maybe I do. Like, I mean, I feel like she's happy with herself and happy with the movie. I feel like there is someone just telling her, sue Disney because they actually didn't do something that you were promised. And she's the good guy because Disney's the ultimate bad guy, I reckon.
No, exactly. And the chances are that what's going to happen is that there won't be a lawsuit. Disney will just pay her. And then the second that happens, because now Emily Blunt's saying that she'll do the same thing. And like all of the people who have had Disney Plus movies are now saying they'll do the same thing. So it's like,
way.
Yeah.
That's
so this has set a precedent.
Yeah. Wow.
And I don't know actually how much longer Disney are doing this, because the next Marvel movie is Shang-Chi, and I'm pretty sure that's going to theaters only. So
nice. Well, we'll actually, hopefully we can watch that together. No, I doubt it actually.
You'll probably like. I'm gonna. So yeah, for the audience listening, I'm in Sydney at the moment, and I'm in lockdown. Lucas is out of lockdown now, so he'll probably be able to start going to the movies and watching movies in theaters. I can't. I'll be fine for some movies. So say next week we're going to do the Suicide Squad, and that releases digitally. Yeah. It's, you know what's so annoying is it's my most hyped movie of like wanting to see it in the theaters, and I can't see it in a fucking theater. I've got to watch it at home.
Buy a lot of alcohol, that's all you need. Really, that's all you need.
Yeah, and you need someone to just be on their phone the entire time, right in front of you.
Yes, and a baby maybe in the back, just crying, and you just
crying.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah,
and just
the usual.
two kids just joking in the corner, not even about
or like
what's going
on.
on.
People that are sneaking in that didn't buy tickets and they're sitting on the steps that you used to get out.
And you need your couch. You need your couch to be really sticky, just really sticky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't get up to go to the bathroom because it's fucking like.
Actually, yeah, maybe it is better watching movies at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Paying wait. So you have to drive to the cinema. It's 20. Well, no, for you it wouldn't be like it'd be like 5-minute walk, 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
But for a normal person, what 20 minutes. You know, you get there. You have to line up. Yeah, you have to find parking. You have to line up to get the ticket, and you say, 3 tickets for the 8:45 session, please. And they're like, yes, that'll be $55, thanks. And you're like, what? Sorry, that's like a meal. You know, but I mean, it's a movie, so you pay it anyway. And then you go to the confectionery stand, and they're like, $17 for this much of popcorn, and you're like, yes, please, I buy.
It's definitely not a cheap experience.
And then you get into the cinema and you watch the film, and then you just I went and saw a film the other day, and everyone's like, sick. But now it's different. Now it's like, I'm watching this Netflix show, and then you just go, oh, sick, I'll binge that. You just watch it in 2 days.
And I will say, I mean, we had to do Jungle Cruise for the podcast, but I probably would have watched it anyway if it had come out on Disney Plus, because I need content. So I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll watch it. Whereas if it was theaters only, oh god, there's no chance in hell I'm going to see this movie. So there is something to be said about having movies. Maybe it's like, because everyone's talked about how theaters are dying, and maybe it's this thing where we go, okay, there's massive tentpole movies that we just have to see on a giant screen in theaters, and then let like the other movies get released digitally, and then
that is exactly. So I was talking to my housemate Fergus, for context, and there's actually a drive-in cinema, like, well, not locally, I think, but like close or something, like 20-30 minute drive, and they play like, you know, Shutter Island, Jaws, you know, Interstellar, those movies that you need to see with like full sound system, big screen, you know, that you need to experience, like not on your laptop where you're like, oh, it's 11 o'clock at night, what movie should I watch before bed? This is like a movie that will take you on a journey, physically and literally. And mentally, I don't know. Yeah, but I feel like that's what cinemas should be for. It's more about the experience, not the actual film. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Because like if we look at like Avengers Endgame opening night, right? The crowd's cheering when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. Like that would just not hit the same if you were to watch that at home. So there is definitely a need be like, for the movie going experience. Why does Daddy not love me?
Yeah. You get the idea. But yeah.
So I reckon we've done a good job of not talking about the movie for the past 20 minutes.
That's true. What was it called? Apparently Tom Cruise was supposed to be in it. That's why it's called Jungle Cruise. See, that was a shitty pun.
When they said that he couldn't do his own stunts, then he was like, well, what's the point in doing a movie?
And he actually probably would have made the film a bit better. That's also what I didn't like about this film, was everything was just CG, green screen, whereas Pirates of the Caribbean...
we're talking about the movie again.
Yes, I'm sorry to...
Yeah, sorry.
Remind you that we watched this film, wasted 2 hours of our life watching something that spent...
Here's the thing. I have, like, I would say that this movie, I don't know if you agree. I think Space Jam is a worse movie, but I think this is the definition of a passable movie, where it's just good enough to turn your brain off.
50%.
Yeah.
You know? Just on the fucking... It's not 49, it's not 51, it's 50. It gets the pass.
It is a 5 out of 10 movie. So yeah, and it just means it's forgettable and hard to talk about. Like, I hated Space Jam, so it was quite easy to talk about. This I just feel like nothing for. I couldn't give a shit about it either way.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like that's why I feel like we just have these like pauses of like, what else happened in that film?
Yeah. I mean, I made notes and like I've done them all because there's just nothing else.
Yeah. What else was in that film?
My final point. I'll say one of the best parts of the Pirates of the Caribbean is the score, right? Hands down.
Was it Hans Zimmer? The
Hans
man, the
Zimmer.
myth, the legend?
Exactly. One of the best of all time.
Yes. Made the film. Well,
Amazing.
as well as the acting, the setting, the fucking
everything is on point
plot.
in that movie.
Everything.
And the score of Jungle Cruise is fuck all forgettable. I thought
It's
at least
generic as fuck.
Yeah.
It's so generic that like it felt like I was watching advertisement, honestly. Like it literally felt like I was watching like someone that went online and saw this $40 generic Jumanji / Indiana Jones / adventure jungle run, theme buy now and clicked it and was like, this sounds good. I'm gonna do a $200 million movie with it. Here we
Every
are.
time you say the number, I die inside. Like we could have given that money to like starving Africans, and fed them for years,
or given it to
we made this
fucking
movie.
Yeah, wait, what's his name again? I keep forgetting his name because every time I watch his films, I'm like,
I don't know who you're talking about.
Christopher Nolan.
The
Give it to him.
greatest director of our generation.
Just give it to him.
What the fuck's his name?
Yeah, sorry. It just escaped me.
Christopher Nolan's going to direct this?
It escaped me, man. It escaped me.
You reckon Christopher Nolan would direct Jungle Cruise?
No. I'm saying that we give the $200 million to him.
Oh, yeah. And
That's
he can
what
make
I was saying. Yeah. Or maybe Jungle Cruise with a twist. I feel Yes, continue, sorry.
Well, because I'm sick of talking about the movie. Christopher Nolan is, because of what happened with Tenet and all of the Warner Brothers movies now going to streaming same day as theaters, Christopher Nolan now doesn't want to work with Warner Brothers anymore. And the word on the street is that Netflix is looking at getting him. So.
And they have lots of money.
That'd be a big win for Netflix, a huge loss for Warner Brothers.
Yeah, fuck the Warner Brothers, honestly. Like, what have they done these days that has been good? I'm just going to do a quick research.
I mean,
Warner.
Suicide Squad next week is going to be fucking amazing.
Oh, okay. Maybe
But apart from that,
take that back. Movies. Let's see movies.
No,
Matrix
this year.
4.
Well, that's coming up. No, this year I'll look at the movies I've seen this year. Because my God, you know what I fucking hated? I loathed it. With every fiber in my being, I'd rather die than ever see this movie. Godzilla vs. Kong. Did you see it?
I saw it because it said popular Warner Brothers entertainment movies. And right next to Wonder Woman 1984, which I didn't even watch because the trailer spoiled the whole fucking thing for me, is Godzilla vs. Kong. And I'm not going to lie, Godzilla vs. Kong is the perfect movie to watch on a streaming platform because it has action, everything's going on, there's monsters fighting everything. Like the first Godzilla, amazing. And they should have just left it at that.
The first Godzilla, actually, the first Kong is good too.
Yes, Kong Skull Island, amazing.
And then everything else is just so bad. And it was I remember when they're flying the spaceships down to the center of the earth, and I remember thinking to myself, wasn't the first Godzilla just ultra realistic and had just the army and helicopters and shit?
Yeah, it was just there's a big fucking monster. What do? We don't know. Literally, everyone was like, oh shit, what do we do? Now, I guess, as the films have progressed, they kind of have an understanding of them, and that has made the films less appetizing, because, the humans are like, oh, we'll just use this remote to turn the monster off, and it's attract the monster, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to watch this, I just want to watch Godzilla punch a fucking building, or make a tsunami again.
No, exactly. If it literally was just the fight scenes, if it was like a 30-minute movie of just the fight scenes in and out, oh, that would have been great. But everything else about that movie is just so bad that it drags it down.
It's rough.
Yeah. Anyway, so that would be our review of Jungle Cruise.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Right. I think this is going to be our shortest podcast yet because we just have fuck all to talk about this dumb fucking movie. Yeah. Okay, I'll do some fun Pirates of the Caribbean facts now.
Yes.
So I'll just list. I don't have any fun game or anything.
Wait. Can I do a fact first about Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you last watch Pirates of the Caribbean?
And look, it's probably, I don't know, maybe like 3 months ago.
Okay, that's fine. Ample time. That's the same as me. I think, well, no, actually like 2 weeks. But how old do you reckon Keira Knightley was when they were filming that?
See, I already know this one. I know this one. And I'm not a pedophile, okay? So,
yeah, well...
She was 17.
I wasn't trying to catch you off guard or anything, but like, yeah, it's just insane how she did an amazing performance at the age of 17. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Good on her.
She also doesn't look 17 at all. She looks like mid-20s. Like,
yeah, she looks 25 at least.
Yeah.
Because the makeup, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, she looks good. And like Will and her... probably was the first TV or movie relationship where I was like, I actually wanted to see...
It does make it a bit creepy, though.
When I was a kid, I actually wanted to see everything. Like, I feel like most movie relationships, you know how you see too much of the sex scene, you're like, get this shit over with. I don't care
as a
about
kid,
this.
yeah.
I wanted the story. This, well, I mean, because you never saw them do anything together. Like, even kiss. They only kiss, like, 3 times in the last film. In the last film and the whole, like, 3. And, like, as a kid, I was just like, bro, I want these two to get together so fucking bad. And, yeah, they just milked it. And I love that. I love that as, you know, a kid and even now.
No, they were fantastic in the roles. And, yeah, it's amazing that she was only 17 and still performed, did an amazing performance. She was able to keep up with Johnny Depp, like, at the age of 17.
Yeah.
Props to her, man.
She's goated. But, yeah. Continue with the fun facts.
I have some alternate castings for the Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's start with the man himself, Jack Sparrow. So here's one. Matthew McConaughey was set to play Jack Sparrow.
I just imagine him on a boat, just going. All right. And that would be like their get up as they shoot the cannons or some shit. I could see Matthew in like a pirate outfit, and
he's too,
he'd be a dopey though. Yeah, true. You're right. Yeah, Jack.
I don't know.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. And then Jim Carrey for Jack. That could work. That actually
prime. That would have been prime career Jim Carrey.
Oh my god, yeah. What other films did he do in 2003? I just want to actually compare. 2003.
Bruce Almighty.
Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey movie. 2003 Jim Carrey movie. Bruce Almighty. How did you get that straight away? What the fuck?
I'm goated. I'm so good.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. Yeah,
Bruce Almighty's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies.
It actually is. Yeah, it got 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What do they know?
Yeah, that's Steve Carell, and it was pretty good. Yeah, he did the thingy. But yeah, no. Jim Carrey.
So yeah, I think that potentially could have worked. He's an amazing comedic actor. He would have been way more comedic relief.
Yeah, 100%. He would have been just straight up dopey. Like, he would have come on scene and he would just be like, playing with shit, doing his amazing facial expressions and stuff. Yeah, doing his work. But yeah, continue.
Okay, now here's some other ones. Michael Keaton.
That is tough. Like, I'm so on the fence
It's
of
borderline.
he could be terrible, but he could be amazing. Like, you never know with Michael.
Because have you seen Beetlejuice?
No, I haven't. I actually need to.
So yeah, Tim Burton movie, and it's crazy insane, and he's so good in it. So Michael Keaton comes from like more of a comedic background as well. Although he's best known for Batman. But
yeah. Well, I like him in the other
Birdman.
guys. The other guys. Oh, in the Birdman, yeah. The other guys, he is spectacular in the other guys. Like,
He's so
just
funny.
the little like that movie as well is amazing. But can we do those movies, please? The other guys and like Step Brothers and stuff. I can quote those movies for days.
When we run out of new movies coming out, yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. But
We'll talk
so
about
like
anything.
he just has the ability to like just
Transform into
a role and just make himself feel so believable and so real. Like, when I see him on screen, I'm like, that could be a real person in real life. And like, other than like Beetlejuice or Batman, I mean, but like, and I feel like as a pirate, he would have done a stellar role, and I would have been like, that's probable as a pirate back in the day, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. Okay, here's one. I don't think you're ready for this one. And this is true. This is 100% true.
All right.
Christopher Walken. It's Jack Sparrow.
No. What the fuck? No, that would not work at all. Jesus Christ. Wait, how old was Christopher Walken then?
He would have been younger. He's still pretty old.
Yeah.
I always think of, for Christopher Walken, I always think of in the Jungle Cruise. He plays like the giant orangutan, and he goes, I want to be like you. Ooh.
Hey, that's true. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, he was good looking. Christopher Walken. So he's 78 years today.
For Christopher Walken.
No,
okay, so take off 20.
picture.
No, take off 18.
So he was 60.
Oh.
Yeah,
That
a
just doesn't add
60-year-old pirate. No, that does not exist on any level.
Especially if you have Jeffrey Rush, then no. Like, Jack needs to be younger. Right.
Yeah. So thank God it turned out the way it did.
And then I've got one more for Robert De Niro, and then we'll move on to other characters. Sorry, one more. I ruined it. Oh, one more for
Robert
Jack Sparrow.
De Niro.
It's Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro, Jack Sparrow. Hey. Oh, I'm a pirate.
Nah.
That would work. That was terrible. Can you cut that out? Cut that out.
Yeah, I'll in the edit. I'll just remove it.
Yeah, I'll just snip it out.
Yeah, I'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
But yeah, Robert De Niro again, too old, I think.
Yeah,
and this
as
was
a
when he started
pirate?
doing shit performances.
Yeah, true. I'm like, bro. Yeah, every time I hear Robert De Niro, like, my mind just goes back to Heat. 1955.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, fucking amazing.
Probably one of his last good performances.
Yes. Well, when was his properly last good performance, you reckon, Robert De Niro?
I don't know. I can't actually think of the last. Because like, the second he got to meet the parents, it was just downhill.
Yeah, true. Wait, like Robert De Niro movies. Movies, bro, not just him. Okay, here we go. Taxi Driver, yes, of course. Maybe The Irishman, well,
of course.
I don't know. What's this? The War with Grandpa? What is he doing these days?
No,
Dirty
exactly.
Grandpa?
It's just
Oh my
utter trash.
fucking God. Yeah, I think Meet the Fockers might have honestly been like the last thing. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. Men of Honor. No, I don't know. He was in Shark Tale. How?
He was in Shark Tale? Don't even remember that.
Who did he play in Shark Tale? Wait, I want to see this. 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. Will Smith.
Oh.
Jack Black. Robert De Niro's Don Edward Leno. Alright, fucking who the fuck was that? King of Comedy, that's a good one. Limitless. Yeah, he was... No, he was actually alright in Limitless. I remember. Yeah, alright. Well, enough with...
Actually, I lied. I have one more for Jack Sparrow.
Alright, here we go.
Hugh Jackman. The Broadway legend, Hugh Jackman. Have you heard about his Broadway? Like, he loves Broadway.
Yeah, he loves Broadway. Well, no, that actually could have worked. That could have strangely like I feel like he would have been really charismatic, Jack Sparrow, and I feel like
Yeah.
there would have been more of like a tension between Will and Jack, and that would have suited the second. Because in the second one, how like Elizabeth kisses Jack, like or pretend like she doesn't actually like mean to do it properly. That would have actually like hit harder. I feel like with Hugh, because Hugh's like, not to say that Johnny isn't handsome, but I feel like he's like I feel like Hugh's just outstanding, like and I feel like he, I don't know, would have done something where he'd been like.
It's actually It's a common criticism for his Wolverine, because Wolverine in the comics is supposed to be like real short, like kind of stubby and like really wide, and he's supposed to kind of be like ugly, and Hugh Jackman's just a beautiful 6 foot whatever man. He's like a work of art, right? So there was actually a bit of an uproar around his. Yeah, exactly.
Well, he does the role so well, so I feel like you can't really complain. Like he
makes up for it.
He does indeed. But yeah.
Okay, so I've got one for Will Turner and one for Elizabeth Swann. And I don't know if there's any other good ones. No, every other one's shit. So Will Turner it was so close between Orlando Bloom and Heath Ledger.
Wait. Oh, man. Oh my fucking God. No way.
It was very close.
Wow.
He narrowly missed out on the role.
Yeah, that's... I don't even know, because Orlando like fits the role so well though. Like he literally made it his. Well, he didn't make it his own. The role was perfect for him, I feel like. But it also would have suited Heath, because I remember seeing, I think, Is it A Knight's Tale that Heath is in? Or
I haven't seen A Knight's Tale, but yeah, he's in that. Yeah.
It's very, very good if you want to see attractive Heath. But like him in that, his accent and just like the way he conducts himself, like he'd be very believable in Will Turner's role. Just like because he sword fights in A Knight's Tale as well. Like he's a fucking one of those guys on a horse that they do that thing. I can't remember what it's called.
Jousting?
Jousting, that's it. They joust. And he also fights as well. And so yeah, he'd be fucking heaps believable. So that is probably of course it would be close. They're very good tributes.
Yeah. And I think Orlando got the role because they thought that he has like kind of legs as an actor because of Lord of the Rings. So they were like, okay, he was successful in this franchise. Let's bring him into this new franchise and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
And then, okay, finally, Elizabeth Swann. Finally, Elizabeth Swann. Yes. Alternative casting is Jessica Alba.
Just gonna do a quick search up real quick. I thought you were about to say Natalie Portman. And I was like, because they look as they look alike. Jessica
that would yeah.
What the fuck? She's in Fantastic Four.
Yeah, Fantastic Four. That's probably her most famous.
What in the Oh, well, I'm glad they didn't cast her. Because that's Keira Knightley. Fucking... Okay, I can't find her because I can't spell.
I'm glad that to be fair, I'm glad that none of these castings happened because, I mean, maybe Heath
Other
Ledger
than maybe
was
Heath
probably
Ledger.
the only...
Yeah, that's the only one. The only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. I agree.
Because the cast of this movie is so perfect that it makes the movie.
It does. It does really well. Any other fun facts?
No, well, I think that's kind of it. I mean, I don't want to drag on this podcast about Jungle Cruise for too long without actually talking about Jungle Cruise. But unless, if you have any final thoughts.
Other than, just Disney sucks and they're wasting money. And I just want them... I really want them to just spend their money well. Spend it on good directors, good... Well, the cast weren't even that bad. The actors were...
No, the cast was probably the best.
It's never the fucking... Well, sometimes it's the cast, but I feel like these days it's never the cast. Every character in this movie, could have been amazing if they were given I mean, the fucking script, I feel like,
Yeah.
the writing was there for them to actually delve deep into their characters. I mean, and maybe not to, well, maybe Dwayne, I mean, because he was given a lot of lines and his character went from the start, oh, he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to the end, oh, he's Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but now he's 400 years old and
Yeah.
he was a rock for 10 seconds and now he's still The Rock.
Yeah.
So maybe he's always been a rock. We'll never know.
And he will always just be The Rock. He will always play The Rock.
Yeah.
He will always be The Rock. He's just The Rock.
He's The Rock. And that's all you're gonna get. You don't pick up a rock and expect it to be gold. It's gonna be a rock.
You know what you get when you pick up a rock.
Exactly.
And you know what you get when you watch The Rock.
Exactly. That's a wonderful metaphor right there. Love his name.
So, that has been the podcast on the Jungle Cruise. I would say don't pay the $20 or whatever to see this movie. Wait, for the love of God, wait until it's free on Disney Plus, and then maybe consider watching it. Just rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean. Just do that. It's the same movie.
Just do that. It's amazing. The first Pirates of the Caribbean will literally just lighten up your night. If you're depressed, watch this fucking movie because it will just you'll be just invested in these characters, and then you'll be like, holy shit, there's 2 more feature-length films about these characters, and these sequels get even better.
4 more. There's 4 more.
No, we don't like the 4th. We don't like the... Well, it's still 5th. A good watch. Or the 5th. Fuck the 5th.
Did you see the 5th?
Yes, I did. And I watched it, and I was like...
Too. I was tricked into it too.
It's
I thought maybe this would be good.
Yeah, I do like it.
Because the 5th one, they go into like the kids or whatever, and anyway.
Yeah, I only like it because they keep paying Johnny Depp. And I'm like, yes, just keep paying. Keep giving me money.
Well, he's been fired now. So
fuck that whole kerfuffle.
It's so confusing and it's hard to tell what side is right. We will talk about that. So we're not going to talk
on
about
a later date. I think he is in the right. I'm saying that now because I love him.
Okay, I do think he's in the right too, but I just think it could be a confusing situation.
Why is the rum always gone? Why is the rum always?
You don't have much rum left.
No, I don't. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So next week, as we hinted at earlier, we're going to be talking about the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad. So I'm very excited for this movie, and if you don't know, essentially the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, he was fired from those movies, and then Warner Brothers was like, well we'll take him. Sure, let's take him. And then James Gunn is now making not a sequel, not a reboot, but kind of sequel, kind of reboot of Suicide Squad. And he has the free will to do whatever it is. It's R-rated, and James Gunn has said himself that he thinks this is the best movie he's ever made. And the reviews have been saying it is one of the best movies, period.
Are you saying that I'm going to be watching a good film for this podcast? Because up until now...
This might be the first proper S-tier type movie we watch.
I'm excited. I'm excited to...
And you're probably going, hopefully, I mean, if you want to. I don't know if theatres are open in Melbourne, but you can probably see it in a fucking theatre.
Bro, I would love that. Even though we were talking a lot of shit on fucking cinemas, I would love to go to a film with someone. With probably my... Yeah, actually, I'm going to go to a cinema by myself and watch this film. Actually, no.
That's interesting.
Ferg would probably like to come. He's in... Actually, no, he says... Actually, no, he would like this film because it's R-rated and he's all about being, a grown-up. So, yeah.
Mature. Yeah.
Yes.
Being grown-up,
Being a grown-up. Yeah.
Where's Daddy's juice?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be fun. But wonderful.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So look forward to that next week. Mm-hmm. And and never see Jungle Cruise.
Never. Just if you have to watch it for kids, your kids might love it. If you do,
your kids might.
listen to this and actually have kids,
Have kids.
How do you
I don't
do
think
it?
anyone's doing that, mate.
I don't think
Firstly, I don't think
anybody
anyone's
does that.
listening to us.
Yes,
Secondly,
true.
I don't think anyone has kids listening to us. But if you are listening to us, make sure you keep listening to us each week. We're on any way you listen to podcasts. We're also on any social media. I will say as well I've been uploading clips to social media and that, and the last clip around Space Jam actually did quite well. So, maybe you're tuning in because you saw one of our clips last week. Keep tuning in. But yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Tune to the channel. Tune to the channel.
To us each week. And I don't know if it matters, but I release these on Mondays. I don't know why. It's just easiest for me.
It doesn't matter. Mondays.
Mondays, 8 a.m. bright and early is when I upload these. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next week when we talk about the Suicide Squad.
I love you. All right. See ya.
Peace.